And welcome back to the week of who would win. And today we are going with, which one was it? Blue King. Blue King asked the question, who would win in a fight? The Punisher or John Wick? John Wick, the Baba Yaga. Now, to be clear, you didn't specify which Punisher you wanted me to do. Did you want me to do the Netflix one? The Punisher Warzone one? The other Punisher? The Dolph Lundgren Punisher? I don't think you meant that one. But, or did you just mean the comic Punisher? Overall, I'm going to just use the standard comic Punisher. If you want me to redo it with the Netflix one, just let me know, and I will at some point. But, yeah, you didn't specify which one, so I just went with the standard Punisher. Anyway, though, Frank Castle, at this point, if you haven't either watched the series or picked up a comic, here's the quick couple-second rundown. Frank Castle was an ex-Special Forces operative. His family got killed by gangsters, and he swore vengeance on all crime and basically went out and cleaned the streets full of crime. There you go. In terms of a personality, Frank is a very driven man. His goal is essentially to do what Batman does, but actually kill people doing it. It's like he has no qualms about putting a gun to your head and pulling the trigger. Frank fights there. I believe read as they put it. Nick Fury classifies him as a level 6 threat because of his firearm capabilities, his skill, and his lack of strength with using lethal force. He is a scary mother. There's a reason he wears that skull shirt. Not because it was a gift from his son, I believe. But Frank is an ex-Special Forces. He has no superhuman powers anymore. There were times he did. But he has no superpowers anymore, but he's skilled in multiple forms of hand-to-hand combat. He's always in peak physical condition for a man his age, which I think he's in his 30s or 40s at this point, but he's still in peak human condition. He's essentially Batman in that regard. He's a skilled weapons user, marksman, tactician, no qualms using lethal force whatsoever. Always carrying around a certain amount of weapons with him, firearms, also knives, grenades. For this fight, we'll give him a automatic. We're not going to. Here's the real truth of it. If you really wanted to play the real, it's like, well, let's be honest situation here. Punisher would take out John Wick with a sniper rifle from 100 yards away like that. So we're talking about an actual fight between these guys. So yes, he was 100% of the time, technically. But in terms of an actual fight, we're going to give him a machine gun, we're going to give him a shotgun, we're going to give him 2 pistols with a couple extra, with like 2 magazine rounds, or 2 clips, I should say. We will give him also a knife, and he has his body armor as well, which is capable of, absorbing gunfire, things along those lines. He doesn't have much else that goes well. I mean, again, he's definitely one of the darker Marvel characters, all things considered, particularly with his backstory. Yeah, again, no qualms about killing at all. He thinks he's doing the right thing. He thinks he's justified. So, there you go. John Wick, Baba Yaga, the boogeyman. Well, actually, he wasn't the man you killed. He wasn't really the boogeyman. He was the man you called to kill the fucking boogeyman. I love John Wick. It's one of the only Keanu Reeves characters in movies that I really love. I do enjoy Constantine as well. I'm actually not a fan of The Matrix myself. I'm one of those rare people who's just like, not my taste. Keanu Reeves is not a terrible actor when you give him the right platform. But anyway, John Wick. Now, we don't know a lot about his back history. All we know is he was pretty much a mob enforcer / hitman for the Russian mafia. And at one point, he was given a task, an unspeakable task, and the bodies he put in the ground, they lay the foundation of what we are now. He pulled it off, and they left him alone. Then he came out of retirement because they took his car and killed his dog. His deceased wife, who died of cancer, left him, and the car is a gift from his wife as well. So, yeah! And then he went to war and just wrecked shop. Now, again, we don't know much of his backstory. We also don't know a great deal about him in general. But what we can gather is this. And from what people say about him, from what we see, he's a man of sheer will and focus. It's like when John Wick sets his sights on doing something, he's going to get it done or die trying. And so far, he has not died. So he got what he needed done. You go, puppy? So, yeah, he is... He's also kind of... I've heard Jason Bourne likened to an animal. He is kind of an animal in some regard. Is that he is a beast. He is, you cage him or you corner him, he will bite, he will claw, he will kill you to get out of that. It's surprising. He's not peak human condition. He's in good shape for a guy his build, his age, things along those lines. Keanu Reeves is in his 50s, but he still moves quickly with accuracy, with finesse. He's precise. He's got he knows where to hit his target. He's a crack shot, because most of those shots you see, he's hitting them in the head nearly every damn time. So he usually has at least a magnum of some kind. I can't remember what kind of gun it was. Mark would be the one to actually ask that question. Mark's a very big gun aficionado, firearms aficionado, but he usually carries, I think it's probably like a 45 of some kind. I think it's a Beretta or something. Anyway, usually we'll get him the 2 clips, clips as well. In terms of hand-to-hand style, he's a lot more of a on-the-fly fighter than, say, Frank Castle is. Frank definitely has like his finesse and moves, and Wick is certainly in that category too. He knows quite a few martial arts, as Keanu Reeves also knows quite a few martial arts. Keanu Reeves is actually a very well-trained martial artist. Excuse me. But we know for a fact he knows judo and jujitsu, given the fact that in friend buddy of ours, the powers that be, as he's known, also was taking a jujitsu classes, and he showed the jujitsu like choke, where you basically take someone's shirt and just go like that to them. And yeah, so we know that he's probably got a little bit of Aikido in there as well. He's pretty adept with a blade. Again, firearm. He can do gun kata pretty easily as well, because we see that he's capable of chaining his actual martial arts with his firearm techniques. So he's very skilled in that regard as well. He's also can take a freaking hit. Like, John can get his shit wrecked and keep going. He can get shot through the saw and through the stomach and keep going for a good half hour longer. We don't know exactly after he got shot how long it took him to get from point A to point B. But he was able to keep going and continue fighting someone else while doing that. Granted, he's not invincible by any stretch of the means. He did eventually have to basically calm down, get medical treatment. But he got stabbed in the leg at one point and kept going. That scene in the second movie where they're tumbling down the stairs, beating the shit out of each other, kept going, and they kept going at him. They just kept going. He's great. He's highly skilled at joint locking and basically just breaking arms. He doesn't have much issue taking on individuals who are larger than him either. He took on the sumo wrestler. Granted, he had a weapon on him at that time. But he doesn't have qualms taking on bigger opponents. It's just a matter of knowing how to take them on, and he knows usually how to take them on. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I missed about John. He's also he's also not dumb. He plans ahead, actually, when you think about it. Because he knows like in the second movie, for example, he knows how events are pretty much going to play out. He knows how the scenario is going to end, but he's still doing it anyway. And he plays the other people's hubris and egos and their well-beings, I suppose you could put it, to get them to help him, and he knows how to do that. Now, I don't think that would play a factor in this fight, but who knows? I don't think it would. Last but not least, we do have to give him at least a comparable arsenal to Punisher. So, in the second movie, he had he had a shotgun. He had he had like a machine gun of some kind, the Beretta, something like that. I can't remember what it was. I remember when sitting down with Mark to watch it, he was just kind of getting gleeful at what scenes. He's like, oh. He had a freshly stoned knife. He had several hand-to-hand, small arms, single arms, small arms, handguns. That's the word I was looking for. And he did have his own armor. His suit was lined with a advanced form of body armor that was like a very thin Kevlar. It could even take point blank shots. It was very painful to take, but he just like popped him out and is like, there we go, we're good. So John can take hits, he can take the pain, he can dish him out. Comparing these two right there, physically speaking, Frank's got the edge. In terms of overall experience, they're probably equal, but only in the sense that Frank spent a lot of time in the military and special forces and on the streets. John's probably spent a lot of time in the mob, in the mafia, doing the things he's done. John's probably the quicker on his feet, just given the fact that he is of smaller stature, and not as heavily muscled. Therefore, he doesn't have to. Therefore, he's not as covered by his actual size as Frank somewhat is comparatively. Though Frank's not a slouch or anything like that. It's just comparing the two. When comparing their size and stature, John theoretically would be the faster of the two. In terms of actual hand-to-hand combat skills, Frank might hold a slight edge, but John's probably close to him, if not equal. In terms of their actual arsenals, in this case, they're probably about equal as well. We're pretty much giving them the same arsenals, a knife, things along those lines. In terms of their body armor, though, Frank's probably got a slight edge, but the fact is he wears heavier body armor than John does. John wears thin body armor, but his body armor can take much more, can absorb much more of the shock because of it being thicker and bigger. So, what do you take from that? Anyway, how does this fight really go, and how does it end? It's going to end with someone dying, that's for certain. But let's say that Frank has heard John is busy tearing up New York in John Wick 2, and maybe in John Wick 3, basically Frank Castle finds John Wick, hears about everything that's going on, basically tries to basically fires a shot. John's lucky enough to avoid it at one point, and they see each other and face off. Now, luckily, John at this point has also been given a little bit of help before his 1 hour's up. So he's got his weapons on him as well. So the fight breaks out. And the majority of the first part of this fight is just going to be off, firearms going off at each other. They're just going to be unloading at each other for a while. Eventually, they're going to they're both going to know they're going to be running out of bullets. They know how to count their bullets. So John's basically just going to save it for just hand-to-hand, his handgun. Frank's going to do the same. And then the real fight's going to get started, where they're going to go back and forth trading blows. But John's going to try to get the advantage more than likely before Frank does. Frank's just going to come flying in, like Punisher style. Sorry, just about to blow him away, but John's got him there too. They both are looking at each other briefly, and they both fire. Frank dodges, but John gets out of the way quickly, and then basically the actual real fight begins. John's able to knock the one out of his left hand with his foot, just kick it out of the way, grab him on the left hand, try to shoot him in the face, but Frank just, bats the gun, just headbutts him, and just knocks the gun out of his hand. So now John and him are going toe-to-toe, hand-to-hand. And John's not as, quick, just boom-do-do-do style. It's more just a boom-boom, clever strikes, blocks, and counter-strikes. That's basically it. Blocks and counter-strikes are what a lot of John's style seems to be around. And not to say that Frank doesn't know that as well, but Frank's style is definitely going to be more direct than John's is, where he's just going to try to, come in. Maybe just lands a solid one on John's gut, and then John just grabs him and just flips around and just gets him in a hold. He's got his arm like that. Basically, he got that arm breaking choke where he grabs someone by the arm, trying to break their arm. Now Frank's just like, oh, dude, he's reaching for his gun. John sees, he's like, I can't have him do that. So he's like he's got him. He's got to get his arm out. Just stabs him in the arm. Just as like, ah! And now Frank's just. Well, unfortunately, he had to let go of the arm with one arm. So now Frank's got enough strength in him to just kind of throw John aside. He takes the knife out. So now John's able to grab the gun again, but he throws the knife, gets John in the hand. So then John's like, ugh. So now he grabs his gun. John just boom, plows right into him. Just boom. So now they're going back and forth. John is taking a beating. Wick is taking a beating. But Punisher's not handling so far well either. He's got a knife wound in his, because things like Kevlar and a lot of body armor, they're great for the blunt force of a bullet, as long as it's not super high caliber. And even then, it'll still absorb a lot of the blow, depending on what body armor you're using. But piercing weapons, they're not the best against. They'll handle a piercing weapon to some degree, but they're not the best against. Plus, you're hitting him in the shoulder and not right there or anything along those lines. Point being, so John just sweeps his legs and just starts landing a couple hits. Frank just grabs him. He's about to break his arm. Now he's starting to break John's arms. John's like, "Argh!" and then he sees the wound, starts punching the wound, just boom, 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 and grabs like maybe a brick for some reason, boom, just starts smash one in the face, and Punisher he just got hit in the face with a brick. He just smacks John off. These guys are now taking a moment, just and they both see their respective firearms, just like they both go for him, just and then John's like poof, poof. And then they both basically, it's essentially that scene in the second one where Common and him stare at each other, and they both get shot. Just boom, they both go down briefly. Just, Punisher and him just, and then John scrambled to his feet pretty fast. It hurt, but he scrambled pretty fast. John then Wick basically just like tagtails it, gets some distance between them, basically hightails run. Punisher gets up, and he's hurt, but he's overall, it's not like he hasn't taken crap like that before. So he's like, yeah, bastard. And like he checks he's got to like make one round left, or not one round, one clip left, so he just, and they make sure he's got a knife on him. So he's going after him. John's now just hiding in the shadows, like, and then Castle monologues for some reason. It's like, if you didn't work for such scum, I think we could have made a nice team, Wick. Yeah, and it's like, I haven't had a fight like this in some time. Makes you feel any better? I'm actually gonna remember this fight for some time. It's like, yeah, it doesn't. That wasn't a bad impression. It's like, it doesn't really. And then John probably just like makes the sound. Frank sees it, and then boom, and he just sees these shattered. John just unloading what's left of his gun into Punisher. Again, mostly in the armor, but one of them does nick, say, an exposed part, like say his arm or something like that. It does get him in. It does hit him in the arm. So now Frank just, God damn it, and then hits Wick, who gets hit instead in the legs. So now he gets hit in the legs. So now he's bleeding. He's like, ah. So, and unfortunately, Frank's also now out of rounds. Well, not quite out of rounds if he had a full clip, but John manages to throw that brick he had, because he managed to, or found a number. He throws it and just knocks it out of the hand again. So now it's just him and Wick. Wick's got his knife still. They got a knife. Wick's bleeding and through his ring for his leg. Not lethal, obviously not a fatal blow. Didn't hit like a femoral or something, but it still hit him in the leg. And Frank's just, his arm's now kind of, it's not useless, but kind of like John's hand, which is injured but still functioning. It's injured but still functioning, but it starts. So now they just come in again, just. Now Frank's probably got the better skill overall in the knife fight, but here's where the X factor for the fight comes in, and here's where the deciding factor, for me anyway, ends up. Is that what is the motivations here for the fight? Because motivations can make a difference in a fight depending why you're fighting. What is your reason for fighting? Frank is fighting simply to rid crime off the street, and he is a driven man. But it's a long-term driven goal. It's like you're just the next piece of scum in a lineup of scum, and I'm gonna just wipe you out. It's like, and I'm just gonna clean the streets. I'm gonna clean out. I'm gonna kill you all. John is just trying to survive. John Wick is literally just trying to survive. And when you're just trying to survive versus trying to literally kill someone and survive, it changes the narrative of how intensely you're going to basically fight and the way you're going to fight. John is trying just to stay alive, whereas Frank is trying more to kill him than anything else. So that's the factor that's going to come into it. Or to the point where John is more than willing to probably take a hit if it means he can get the killing blow in. So he's probably going to come in, because remember, he got stabbed in the gut or in the side by I can't remember his former boss's name, the mobster, the gangster, basically the head of the mafia in the first one. But I believe he took a purposeful stab in the gut, and it did stab him in the neck. And I think basically what's going to happen is John's basically just going to get in. They're going to get some slashes on each other, but ultimately, Frank just he grabs him and just getting ready, and he blocks it. John blocks it, and he basically just positions the stab in a way where he figures it probably won't kill him, but he's like, I gotta take the stab, and then just but then he just grabs him and just shoots this right in the neck, just and honestly, he'd let it go and when it came to the rush, because honestly, that was a kill shot. And if he gets it right there, it's more likely a kill shot for Frank. But I think he might even take just a look start and just kind of like dig it in just enough, and then Frank just and he just and they both just collapse when that, and they're both leaning on probably like a wall or a fence. They're just looking at each other, and like there's despite it all, Frank just gives him a bit of a mutual respect, just a nod, just. And then just, he just bleeds out and just gone. And, John, basically Wick, who's fucked up at this point, severely, he kind of just takes a moment, just breath, relax out a bit. But just like in the first one, just gets up, gets shot, luckily a flesh wound in the leg, but it is a cut, stabbed in the hand, shot in the leg, stabbed in the gut, probably got cracked bones, ribs, and all that. But John Wick comes out the winner in this. But don't think I'm playing the John Wick fanboy here, because this is a close fight. This is a close fight. I go 60-40 in favor of John Wick. There's a real, and technically speaking, I already explained in the beginning that technically Punisher wins 100% of the time, because if he wanted to kill John Wick and he knows how dangerous this guy is, he'd just kill him from a distance. He'd just snipe him. But for the sake of an actual video and a fight, if these two actually came to blows, how would it go down? And that's essentially how it would go down in my mind, is that Wick's determination, and actually reason for fighting just to survive, would outweigh Frank's reason for fighting, being that he's more just a driven man with a goal long-term wise. Excuse me. Ooh. So I do give it to John Wick. But again, there's a very real scenario where Punisher wins that. Even in just the standard fight, there's a real scenario where he wins it. But let me know if you think different. If you do, that's cool. Put it in the comments below. Let me know. By the way, if this was not the version of the Punisher you wanted me to do, I said this at the beginning, but if you wanted me to actually do like the Netflix one, or like the Thomas Jane? Sorry, it's Thomas Jane one. The the Warzone one. Let me know. The Dolph Lundgren one, that one would lose terribly. Let me know, and I will do that again at some point. But thanks for watching, though. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win: Star Wars, superhero, magic, what if? Anything I do on the channel, put in the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to that at some point as well. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. There will be the review for Uncle Drew coming out later today. So thanks for watching,